Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
Going on, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, X, and Instagram Live. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. Happy Monday to the people. It's September 15th, 2025, and we have a fantastic Rome Show for the people. A little Monday morning quarterback. We'll talk about the Sunday in the National Football League that was yesterday. We got a little weekend's best and weekend's worst for the people. You heard that right, 2 Monday night football games tonight that we're going to have to break down for the people. And then, of course, we have to run down our picks from over the weekend, including our newest segment for college football, Seska's Sense. So a fantastic Rome Show here for the people. We'll give you all the pleasantries, and then we'll dive right into it. We're broadcasting live on youtube.com/the Romanellas. That's youtube.com/the Romanellas. Head over to the Romanellas on YouTube and make sure you hit subscribe so you don't miss any of the YouTube content from both the Rome Show and, I'm sure you expected this, the Romanellas. Also, we are the Rome Show 1 on Twitter X as well as Instagram Live. That's the Rome Show, then the number 1 at the end of that. That is Twitter X and Instagram Live. That handle will sit at the bottom left side of your screen for the entire show. And I think that's the easiest way to stay up to date on the Rome Show. We're here every day, Monday through Friday at 7:05 a.m. The last but not least note of the pleasantries is always the Rome Show podcast, wherever you listen to your podcast. Before I continue on and we dive into Monday morning quarterback, I give you this quick soliloquy on the National Football League. Here's the deal, okay? Even while working a baseball event for most of the day yesterday, okay, didn't get a chance to really get my eyes fully on the 1 o'clock slate of games until about midway through the fourth quarter and overtime, depending on which game you were in. And while I'm standing at this baseball event that saw between 50 and 60 different high school age players and their families come through campus, I realized even more so how deep the American pastime for football is. And here's what I mean by that. You look into each dugout when a kid isn't on the field playing, or he's on the field for pregame, or the game just ended and they're cleaning up their stuff before they leave. On a Sunday, on any given Sunday, not the movie, real life, on any given Sunday that you go to a baseball recruiting event in the fall, and it's not hyperbole, it is not, this is what it looks like, this is what it is. Parents, coaches, players, and anyone in between talking about football, watching football, analyzing their fantasy teams, talking about their survivor picks. I mean, the sport of American football, most specifically, has unbelievably taken over in our country as America's pastime. It is the most exciting day of the week, hands down, bar none. It's some of the most exciting time of the year, hands down, bar none. And I think the reason why, in the most important form, it can be considered America's pastime is because I believe it's the easiest sport as a marginal fan to get behind. It is the easiest sport as a fan that is not fully delved into a professional sports league or a professional sports team. I can sit down with my friends on a Sunday, have a barbecue, not really care that much about football, but I can get into football for that given 3 or 4 hours in that barbecue setting, in that hangout setting, in the environment with which all of my friends love watching this sport. There's no other sport like that. There's really no other sport where you can center a party around that entire sport, and then that is it. Like in baseball, 3-game series, 162 games. In hockey and basketball, 82 games in the year. But in football, because so much matters week on, week off, so much matters within a 7-day span of your last opportunity to watch that team. There's so little chances. 365 days in the year, only 17 dates your favorite football team is guaranteed to play. So it's a combination of the way the sport is designed. It's very easy to harness conversation. It's very easy to hang out and watch football at the same time. But on top of that, because there's only so little time that you have to watch it, 3 total hours in one given week, unless your team plays Sunday, Thursday, which only happens once a year. Not like 6 baseball games a week. If I miss the Mets on Monday or Tuesday, I got them Wednesday through Sunday. No, you have one chance to watch your team each week. And if you didn't think that this sport was America's pastime, I ask you to do this for me. On any given Sunday, show up to an amateur sporting event. Show up to it. Walk around, and you would be amazed on how many people, if not all, are not talking about the sport they're there to watch. They are talking about the National Football League. And as a human being that's dedicated his life to the original America's pastime, baseball, I sit here and tell you I completely understand why it is transformed to football. I completely understand why who we are as a society, the quickness with our brains get on and get off of things, football has nailed that for our attention span. And in so many other ways, which we do not have to get into today. I just found it so wild. Players, parents, college coaches, travel coaches, security guards, everyone locked on football any given Sunday, no matter where they are. You're locked on the Rome Show here, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter X, and Instagram Live. I'm your host, Andrew Romanella. We're going to take a quick commercial break and come back with the slowest 3 minutes in football breakdown history. We call it Monday Morning Quarterback, 47 seconds. And then we're back here on the Rome Show. Andrew Romanella.
Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella. Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
All right. Welcome back in here to the Rome Show. Yeah, we broadcast live on the old YouTube and the old Twitter X. The Romanella's on YouTube, the Rome Show 1 on Twitter X and Instagram Live. Just follow the show, people. You can also get it on Facebook as well. Monday morning quarterback. Here we go. What's it mean? It means we are going to run you through every game in the National Football League on Sunday in hopes of being able to give you some insight into what went on. Because though I started the show with a rant about how football is the true America's pastime, I tell you that in the same breath, fans are so locked on their football team that they might not actually care about the Red Zone channel until their team is done. So I, in the slowest 3 minutes in the history of football breakdown on a Monday, and give that to you. Monday morning quarterback. Here we go. The Patriots, they defeated the Dolphins 33-27. Tua Tagovailoa and the Dolphins, significantly better day. However, Tua Tagovailoa, terrible interception that cost the Finns the game, unfortunately. And Patriots get their first victory of the season. Mike Vrabel gets his first victory as a head coach. 1-1 the Pats. 0-2, not looking good for the Dolphins. Side note to this game, somebody purchased a flag sign, whatever, on a plane and flew it over Dolphin Stadium yesterday, stating they want Mike McDaniel and GM Chris Greer fired. Not a good time in Coral Gables, Miami. The Bengals, they beat the Jags to improve to 2-0, but they got atrocious news yesterday when Joe Burrow left the game in the second quarter with what they called a toe injury. Joe Burrow now has been deemed to have turf toe and will be out for 3 months. We'll touch on that more later. Jake Browning came in the game for the Cincinnati Bengals, 21 of 32, 241, 2 TDs, 3 INTs, but it was good enough to get the victory for Cincy. However, that is not good moving forward. There's no playbook where Jake Browning is the one that is winning you games and taking you to the playoffs if you're the Bengals. The Giants and the Cowboys, they played an unbelievable contest that went to overtime. Though Russell Wilson arguably had, from a statistical standpoint, the best game he has had since he left Seattle. I mean that honestly. He threw for 450 yards and 3 touchdowns. There's one blemish on the day for Russell Wilson, and that was the atrocious throw in overtime that eventually cost the Giants the game. Brandon Audrey hit the game-winning field goal as time expired for the Cowboys. They also had Audrey hit a game-tying field goal with the time expiring in regular time. By the way, if you were wondering, Brandon Audrey was the fantasy play over the weekend. 4 field goals, 16 points he put up on the board for the Cowboys in their 40-37 victory of the Giants. The Lions, they dismantled the Bears. If there was any question about whether or not the Lions were going to be way worse this season, or week 1 was an indicator of how bad they would be, well, they put a close to that book instantaneously. 52-21, the Lions defeated the Bears. Oh my, what a day for Jared Goff. 334, 5 TDs, 0 interceptions, 156 passer rating. I believe that is perfect. Jahmyr Gibbs, 94 on the ground, 1 TD. David Montgomery, 57 on the ground, 1 TD. Jameson Williams, Amon-Ra St. Brown, both over 100 receiving. Amon-Ra, 3 receiving touchdowns on the day. 0-2 for the Bears, 1-1 for the Lions. The Rams, Coach Romo, 24's pick in the pick'em pool, 33. The Titans, 19. Matt Stafford, 2 TDs, 292 yards. Devontae Adams, huge day for the Rams, 6 receptions, 106 yards, and 1 TD. The 49ers, behind Mac Jones, defeated the Saints 26-21. Mac Jones had arguably his best day in the National Football League since he's been in the league for 5 years. 279 and 3 TDs on the day. 2-0 the 49ers. Don't know when Brock Purdy's going to come back, but team looked pretty good with Mac Jones. Don't get excited but that's a good sign for the 49ers. On the flip side, though, Spencer Rattler deserves his due. 25 of 34, 207 yards, and 3 TDs for a quarterback that everyone thought was going to be a throwaway in this season for the Saints. He's already thrown for 3 TDs, 421 yards, and has not turned the football over. So maybe the Saints won't be as good as they're supposed to be this year, but it seems to be like Spencer Rattler's also not as bad as people assumed he would be as well. Still, the Saints sit at 0-2. The Bills, they dismantled the Jets 30-10. And not only did that happen, but the Jetropolitans, they also lost Justin Fields in the fourth quarter. Tyrod Taylor had to finish the game. Justin Fields had a concussion. Wild stat for the people. Mitchell Trubisky came into the game for like 3 plays for the Bills, while Josh Allen had a bloody nose. He threw a 32-yard dime in his first play from scrimmage. Justin Fields yesterday, prior to getting hurt in the fourth quarter, only threw for 27 total yards. That means on one play, Mitchell Trubisky outgained through the air Justin Fields over the course of his 3 quarters of football. Not good for the Jetropolitans. Not good. Not what you're looking for on offense. The Seahawks and Sam Darnold, they get their first victory, 31-17, behind 17 points in the fourth quarter from the Steelers, including a terrible play by their kickoff returner who let the ball bounce in the landing zone. It hit the landing zone, then rolled into the end zone, which is a live ball. Didn't do anything, just ran off the field. Seattle comes running in, touchdown, changes the game. They win 31-17. The Ravens, they defeat the Browns 41-17. Atrocious day for Derrick Henry, 11 rushes, 23 yards. But that didn't matter because Lamar Jackson threw for 4 touchdowns and only had to throw the ball 29 times. This was an onslaught for the Ravens, which they needed after they blew a lead last week against Buffalo late. The Ravens have scored 81 points in 2 games. Think about that. Derrick Henry had 23 rushing yards yesterday, and they scored 41 points. They have scored 81 points in 2 weeks. That's an unbelievable total for a Ravens team that we probably don't even feel like has reached or is even close to their true potential yet. Wild. That's going to be a team to watch. The Colts and the Broncos, they played a fantastic contest that the Colts won on a walk-off kick, 29-28. The only reason why that walk-off kick was able to be successful from Spencer Schrader is because there was a missed kick to end the game that Denver got called for leverage on, and therefore the Colts got another chance to free kick. Spencer Schrader, a Brandon Audrey type day, 5 for 5, 17 points on the field goals. Daniel Jones has found his home, 316 passing yards, 1 TD. What a day, 165 yards on the ground for Jonathan Taylor. He was cooking, 200 total yards from scrimmage, 205 total to be exact. Colts, they're 2-0. Daniel Jones, more wins this year in 2 games than he did all year last year as the starter for the G-Men. We continue on with the Cardinals and the Panthers. This was a gross football game. No other way to put it. 27-22, Cardinals win. They tried to blow it. 13 unanswered points in the fourth quarter by the Panthers. However, they could not find a way, and the Cardinals somehow, not a good-looking 2-0, but they improved to 2-0. Not many stats to jump off the page here. Kyler Murray, 17-25, 221 TD, and 1 interception. The Chiefs, they're 0-2. For the first time since 2014, the Eagles, they defeated them 20-17. Not a good day for Patrick Mahomes and the offense. They have not looked in sync in the last 2 games, and that's going to have to get cleaned up. Whereas the Eagles, though they're not playing anywhere near what will be the best football of the year for them, they are a great team, and great teams find a way to win. And on the road, they defeat the Chiefs 20-17 to move to 2-0. And finally, last night on Sunday Night Football, the Falcons, they got their first victory of the year, 22-6 over the Vikings. The Vikings have some serious offensive problems that they need to address, because for 2 straight games, they have been atrocious on offense. minus the fourth quarter of game number 1. So let's call it 7 of 8 possible quarters. The Vikings have been not very good at football. They only scored 6 points in this game. And if you put the two games together, they've only scored 33 total points as an offense in 2 weeks. That's not what you're looking for from really first-year quarterback McCarthy. J.J. McCarthy, who you told Sam Darnold to kick rocks to after his career year last year, who is not right now proving to look like he is the answer. But it's early. It's early. So we'll see what happens. Falcons 1-1. Minnesota Vikings 1-1. And that's a Monday morning quarterback for you here on week 2, Monday, September 15th, 2025. We'll be right back after this commercial break to finish this show off with a weekend's worst, a weekend's best, and your rundown on tonight's Monday Night Football action. The Rome Show, broadcasting live on YouTube, Twitter X, and Instagram Live. Andrew Romanella, back after this.
Broadcasting live on YouTube, Facebook, and X. Here's your host, Andrew Romanella.
Okay? Like, just get the hell out of here. Nobody cares what you think if you're not a Mets fan.
What's going on? Welcome back into the Rome Show. Broadcasting live on the old YouTube, Twitter X, Instagram, and Facebook. Subscribe to the Rome Show on Instagram, Twitter X, or Facebook, and hit the Romanellas. Subscribe there on YouTube. It's Monday, September 25th, 2025. September 15th, excuse me. Ooh, got that one messed up. And we are breaking down the National Football League. If you miss Monday morning quarterback, please find the Rome Show podcast wherever you listen to podcasts. Let's go with weekend's worst and weekend's best. I got a 3-1 pack for you here. 3 weekends worst, really 2, excuse me. 3 total, 2 and 1 pack for you. 2 worst, 1 best. Let's get it going with the weekend's worst. Let's start with Joe Burrow and the Cincinnati Bengals. More specifically, though, Joe Burrow. If you missed it in the first half, we talked about it, but here it is now. Joe Burrow left the Bengals game this weekend with an apparent toe injury. That has since turned into turf toe, which has since turned into roughly 3 months on the shelf for the Cincinnati Bengals gunslinger. My quick math tells me that's the middle of December. Jake Browning, the backup quarterback for the Bengals, though he led them to victory yesterday, does not mean that you should feel insanely excited about that moving forward. Joe Burrow, weekend worst, sad trombone, hurts the toe. String of injuries for Joe Burrow in his NFL career. Feel like we know how good he is because he's proven it. But, man, there are some things that pop up here that kind of give you pause about the longevity. Number 2, weekend worst. That's right. Play the sad trombone because the New York Jetropolitans offense was atrocious. Here's a comparison for you from over the weekend. The Jets offense had 43 total plays against the Buffalo Billitos, and they only gained 183 yards. Okay? 183. In comparison, okay, the Bills, they ran 70 plays almost double the amount of plays of the Jets, and they garnered nearly 2.5 times more yards at 403 yards in that contest. The New York Jets defense, the New York Jets offense, the New York Jets in general, they get the sad trombone. That is 100% a weekend's worst, and you falter into 0-2 territory. Thank God the Dolphins stink. Thank God the Pats aren't supposed to be that good, because even though the Bills will run through this division, you're going to be in pack of 3 teams that are bad. And if you find a way to have a run here, you never know. You never know how long you stay in playoff contention. Weekend best, we got one of them, and man, does it make me happy. Pete Alonso, he did it. He led the Mets to victory. Pete Alonso hits a walk-off homer in the 10th inning yesterday against the Texas Rangers to give the Mets a 5-2 victory in the 10th, ending an 8-game losing streak, keeping them 1.5 games ahead of the now since struggling San Francisco Giants for the last wild card spot in the postseason. Jacob deGrom, honorary mention weekend best for coming back and shoving against the Metropolitans and getting his the most run support in a given day at Citi Field in his career. Kind of wild to hear out loud, but nonetheless, weekend best, Petey Alonso, most walk-off home runs in Mets history with 5. Congratulations to the Mets on ending that winning streak now, or losing streak. Now, how about we start a winning streak? Or better yet, let's just not lose 8 games in a row 3 times in a season. Let's try that on for size. We have Monday Night Football coming up. I just got to remind you, you're watching the Rome Show here, broadcasting live on the Romanella's YouTube and the Rome Show 1 on Twitter X and Instagram. Make sure you follow the show. Tonight, we got 2 contests in Monday Night Football. You got the Tampa Bay Buccaneers at the Houston Texans, and you got the Los Angeles Chargers at the Las Vegas Raiders. First and foremost, we're going to start with the Buccaneers at the Texans. The Texans are favored by 2.5 in this game. The total points is 42.5. However, Houston's coming off a 9-point game last week, okay, against the Rams. Only scored 9 points against the Rams last week, okay? So I'm starting there. Houston's favored in this game by 2.5 because they're home, I guess, but that doesn't give me any confidence whatsoever, because I need to see way more from this offense that did not look like it was in sync last week. You got a new running back in the game right now for Nick Chubb. Nico Collins is back after missing most of the year last year with injury. Is that connection with CJ Stroud back on? So first and foremost, this Texans offense needs to look 30 times different if they even want to contend in this moment with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And on the flip side, can the Bucs D-line show up again? Because you know this Houston team wants to give the rock to Nick Chubb. If it was Joe Mixon healthy, they'd be doing the same. They like a balanced attack. However, last week, the best attribute for this Tampa Bay Buccaneers team, who had to win a comeback victory against Atlanta, was the defensive line. They held Bijan Robinson and Atlanta to only 69 rushing yards. I put that all into a blender, and I tell you, wait 2 minutes, and I'll give you my pick. That's your first rundown. Game number 1 tonight, Bucs at Texans. Game number 2, Chargers at Raiders. And I think this one's really simple. The Chargers want to run the rock. The Raiders are still trying to figure out what their offense is, led by Geno Smith. They got Jacoby Myers on the outside. Ashton Janty running the rock. There needs to be more time together on the field if you're the Las Vegas Raiders. So the question just becomes for them, can they keep the development moving forward after getting a really hard-fought victory on the road week 1? For the Chargers, they want to run the rock, okay? They want to establish a physical presence on both sides of the football. So that's what they're going to look to do. And on paper, I believe they are a better football team. And on paper, I believe they have the better quarterback. So if this thing became a throwing contest on either side, I'm going to put my money with Justin Herbert. Vegas is telling you to do the same thing. Vegas has the Chargers favored by 3.5 in this contest and an over-under of 46.5. Let's make the picks.
Ba 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 na na ba 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 na na.
First and foremost, with the Bucks at the Texans, I will take the Bucks at the +2.5 in that contest. And with the Chargers at the Raiders, I will take the Chargers at +3.5 in that contest. And that, ladies, is what we call the road here on a Monday. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope the bananas hit. Another 5-10 weekend for the kid, 1-2 on Seska's Sense. So we'll continue to get better. Nonetheless, the show is great. So if you're watching it, kudos to you. Share the YouTube, share the X, share the Instagram with a friend so they can join in too. I'm Andrew Romanella. I'm back tomorrow at 7:05. And until then, you have an electric start to your week. I'll see you tomorrow. Peace!
Thank you for listening.